Hi everybody and welcome to Acting for Everybody. Today we are doing just a rundown on how to do post-production for any self-tapes that you have. You see I've got my audio files in a folder and my video files. This is just an example audition. I'm not really doing anything in it. I shot this ages ago, so so let's get into it. So we've copied everything onto our computer. It's in a named folder, so we know exactly where to find it. And we're opening up our editing software. I use DaVinci Resolve. If you get 17 or up, it has a cool kind of auto sync feature, and you can customize keyboard shortcuts, which is what I do, which makes editing stuff so much quicker. So we go into our project, or we create a new untitled project and we just open it. I'm just creating it in the same project. I do all of the Acting for Everybody videos. So first of all, we're going to create a bin for our audition. We do this by right-click, new bin, and then we name it. We're just naming this project AFE Audition because it's just an example self-tape, yeah. And this is me being like, is this how we spell audition? Anyway, so we go into that folder, and that is the media pool that we are going to be working with. So I find where I have saved the footage and the separately recorded audio on my computer, which, as you recall, was in a folder called AFE Audition. There it is. And we highlight all of those, right-click, add folder and subfolders into media pool. So that just will add everything that's in that audio folder as well as the footage. And you can see the audio is music and the footage is clips. Now we want to create a new timeline using all of the clips. And we're just going to give that a name. Usually I give it the name of the character I'm auditioning for. So that and create. And DaVinci Resolve has all of these different tabs down the bottom that you can toggle in between. So I'm just going to run through them. A couple of them I have no idea what you use for, like this one. I don't use that. That's the editing tab. I don't use that one. This one's the coloring, the grading tab. I use that. I don't use the music one, whatever that's for. And then the publishing tab, which is the cute little rocket. So we're going back to the editing tab and we're just going to edit it together. Now, in terms of what I include first of all, we're going to need to take the footage and sync it with the audio from the mic. So you can see there the audio that's with the footage, that's the in-camera audio, and I don't like to use it because it's got a lot of space. So I'm just spacing out those clips, and then I'm taking the slate recorded audio, and then I'm taking the rest of the audio, and I'm just going to duplicate that. So I've got one for each clip. Copy paste them to do our syncing. I haven't done a whole heap of batch syncing on DaVinci yet, so I'm just doing one at a time. So you go to clip in the drop down menu and you go to auto align clips and you select based on waveform. And of course, there was an issue with my audio, which I will get back into later. I'm just going to go and see what works and what doesn't. So I'm repeating that process. Clip, auto align clips based on waveform. Now, we're not basing this on time code because, I don't have time jammed things. If this one's going to work. So you just saw that the little audio clip moved, and then I'm just going to check the sync on this one. Now, there was an audio issue with the other file. It literally had no audio on it, and that's why it didn't sync any of the others. So in the end, I just deleted it all. But this one, you can't hear it because I only took I didn't record the audio, I just recorded the screen. But it's in sync, and then this is me just chopping off the ends using some of the shortcuts I've done. But there is tools in the middle of the screen. You'll see that red arrow along that line. You have a blade tool and all of these others. So I just got rid of the in-camera audio, so now it's just the mic, which is the nicer sounding audio, and then just trimming off that end. Cool. And I think so what I'm gonna do, because I don't want this to go for too long, I'm just checking the sync again, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut out the last one for the case, the last take that I did. So that was me highlighting the blade tool, by the way. So I'm just gonna select the one take that I want, and that's the bit that takes the most time for me, is just selecting that and just trimming off the end, hitting that delete button to get rid of them. So I'm going into effects now, and I'm just going to clean that up by adding a crossfade to the sound. You see that little white bit? Yep, it's the crossfade effect. Apologies, I am drinking a cup of tea. Additive dissolve or cross dissolve, doesn't really matter which one. So that's me doing my thing. And I'm going to add some to the end of the clip as well. I usually put the slate at the beginning of the project. I'll start with a slate, and then I'll get into the takes, which I am kind of doing now. I just want to check this one. And of course, because we had that issue. So waveform is basically the computer will analyze the audio and be like, these match or these don't. This is me just listening through that, seeing what I can hear. And I couldn't really hear anything in it. So I was like, ooh, yeah. So yeah, I basically structure. So this is me checking the actual clip itself. And I'm scrolling through to see the waveforms, and there's only popping towards the end. So it didn't actually work, that recording, or I saved the wrong one or something. Although now that I think of it, because this audition, I didn't even speak. It was probably the correct audio. It's funny how I didn't think of that at the time that I was taking the video, but I'm just getting rid of these for the minute because they're useless. But and this is me just going through, finding a couple of for example, because this is an example, this first take is one scene, and then the second chunk is a second scene, and so I'm just gonna go through and cobble the bits and bobs together that I want to use, using the blade tool and just highlighting and deleting things. Alternatively, if you have more experience with editing, you can do in, out, and that ripple delete keyboard shortcut, which unfortunately I don't think I really have the editing prowess to explain to people through a video, maybe one day, but not today. So I'm just adding that after the slate. I'm going to do that with the others as well. So so I usually structure it as presenting with the slate at the top. Then you've got your audition material, which is the scene that you've rehearsed, that they've asked for. In terms of a slate, it's always your name, what city you live in, your height, your agent if you have one. And then after I put like a second of black between each scene or something. If I do multiple takes, look, there's got to be a reason that you put multiple takes in, like a performance reason. So usually I would just add a little kind of subtitle towards the bottom saying take 1, more emotional, or take 2, more straight, take, and I'd only do 2 different takes just to show them that I have a variety of ways that I could do the scene. But if you do multiple takes of something, make sure that there is a reason that you're sending them. We're going to go to effects now, and we're going to scroll all the way down, and we're going to go to titles. Just a basic title, and we drag and drop. Oh dear, no, we don't want that. Back to arrow. And just for this one, I'm just putting like an example in. So I would put my name, my agent, just what was on the piece of paper to begin with. The reason why you put a slate with you presenting it is you give them that opportunity to see how you are to work with and your attitude as a person. But don't go overboard. And this is just like in case you've blown them away and at the end they're like, oh, let's contact her agent. It's like the information is right there, right at the end where they need it. And I've already said I put a second of black between them, but this is me doing that now. Taking the magnet off so we can just do that ourselves. And I'm just turning the volume down just a little bit so it doesn't peak, especially if you've recorded in mic and you're not really saying anything and there's a lot of background noise, which is what this was. I would turn it down to about minus 6 dB. And we're just going to pop some more effects in just to make it feel seamless to watch. Just having a playthrough to see what it feels like to watch. And then I will be doing it again on the full screen. I think I like that, but I want to check it on the big screen because sometimes things don't feel so seamless on the big screen. Now the gaps seem too small, so I might need to just widen them a bit. And this is me testing out the big screen. And I'm doing this fast forward, so that's why it looks funny. And now I'm just going to go in and put a little LUT a temp LUT that I made ages ago, just to brighten my face a little. It doesn't make too much of a difference. There are videos on how you can make these LUT stills. And that's the colouring done. Yeah. So it is time, now that we're happy with it, it is time to give it a render or publish it. So I'm just going to move it up so it doesn't have that massive gap at the back. I mean at the front. Now I am just choosing where I am going to save it to. So I'm going to save it to the same folder as the footage. It's just going to be titled differently. And now we're going to change the title. I usually call it like the character name in Audition. And so I usually choose like the 720p. It depends on what the specs for upload is. You can do a QuickTime H.264, which is an MOV file. And I usually do the 720p just because I'm like, people don't need to see like your audition in high definition 4K kind of stuff, do they? Well, high definition or 4K. And it'll make the site, you can save. This is me looking at what some of my saved presets were, but or you can just go the YouTube route, click on the YouTube option, and you have MP4, QuickTime, which are your basic ones that, yeah, I would recommend MP4 because like your file size is going to be a little smaller. We don't want it too big, we don't want it gigs. So yeah, that's the job there, and that's me saving it because I save every like 5 seconds, and then I select that and then I press the render and off she goes. She won't take very long because she's only a minute long, but this is what rendering in DaVinci looks like. I just do DaVinci because it's what I used to use for work, and that was in the professional field of TV and film. I used to use DaVinci all the time, so I'm used to it. Other than that, I used to be an assistant editor, and I used to use the Avid Media Composer. So I just find DaVinci is free. DaVinci is really good. You can do everything you really need to do with it. And that's why I use it. You can use iMovie. You don't have to use like a program like this to do any of your editing on. But as I said, it's what's familiar to me, and I know how to do a basic color grade. I know how to render, and like DaVinci is often used just for like its rendering, and it reads a lot of different kinds of clips as well. So we've gone back to our folder and there it is. It's only 89 megabits or megabytes or whatever. And we're just playing it. We're just giving it a little bit of a click through, making sure the audio's there, making sure everything's there. It's all good. And then at this point, I would rename it to the specs that they've given you to rename it to. Like, say your character's name was Emily and she was in a movie called Space Cadets. So, and you might include your name and you'd include the date and you'd include audition. Yeah, so that's basically it. Anyway, thanks for joining us on Acting for Everyone. I hope that some of this video was helped you learn some things, maybe about putting a self-tape together. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much and have a wonderful night. And remember, keep acting and keep doing what brings you joy. All right. Have a fabulous day. Bye.